Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're diving deep into something you guys requested, how to read those sometimes confusing signals of attraction, especially, how women signal attraction to men. And you sent in this article. It's called Hidden Signs She's Intensely Attracted to. You Don't Miss These Clues, which honestly makes it sound like we're about to decode a secret message or something. But luckily we've got our expert here, and they're going to help us hopefully avoid, any awkward run-ins, decipher those signals.
Happy to be here. Yeah, this is one of those things where a little knowledge is powerful, but also easy to kind of misinterpret.
Definitely. Speaking of misinterpretations, this article jumps right in, warning guys against, reading friendly behavior as something more. Is that something you see often?
All the time.
Yeah.
It's like the classic, oh, she's being nice to me, she must be flirting. But a smile? That can mean so many things. It could just be politeness or friendship, even just like a reflex.
So how do you tell the difference between a friendly smile and a come hither smile? Is
Right.
there some secret code?
If only it were that easy. There's no universal dictionary for smiles, unfortunately. It's more about, paying attention to the context. Like, is this a smile at a work conference or a smile from across a crowded bar?
Yeah.
Totally different vibe, right?
Context is key. Okay, what about those nonverbal cues? The article mentions prolonged eye contact. How reliable are those?
Prolonged eye contact, that can be pretty powerful. But again, interpretation is everything. In some cultures, holding someone's gaze is respectful. In others, it's kind of aggressive.
It's like those travel books that warn you about accidentally flipping someone off with a thumbs up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even within the same culture, some folks are just more comfortable with eye contact than others, even if they are attracted to someone.
So how do you know if that look across the room means come over or stay away?
That's the million-dollar question, right? You got to look for, a bunch of cues, not just one thing in isolation. Is there other body language too, like leaning in or mirroring your movements, maybe touching their hair? Are they initiating conversation, being engaged?
So it's not just one smoke signal, it's the whole bonfire.
Right. But even then, caution is key.
Yeah.
Just because someone's sending positive signals doesn't mean they're ready to jump into anything.
Like the article said, gotta test the waters. Don't do a cannonball into the deep end without checking how deep it is, right?
Exactly. Speaking of testing the waters, the article also talks about physical touch that can be tricky. What do you think of that section?
I thought it was interesting how they differentiated between, say, a playful arm nudge versus stroking someone's hair. Very different things.
Huge difference. There's a whole spectrum of touch, right? A light touch on the arm during conversation, that can build rapport, but it's usually pretty casual.
Whereas playing with someone's hair, that's pretty universally understood as a romantic gesture.
Yep. So it's about respecting those boundaries, even unspoken ones, even with good intentions. Being too touchy-feely can be really off-putting.
Makes sense. So we've got nonverbal cues, physical touch, context. But what about the digital world? How does all this work with dating apps and, Instagram flirting and all that?
Oh, that's where things get really interesting. And we'll dive into all of that right after this quick break.
And we're back, diving deeper into these attraction signals. Before the break, we were in the real world, all those subtle and not so subtle cues. But now, what about online, dating apps, all that?
Ah, yes. The land of flirty texts and strategically placed emojis. Technology's definitely changed the game.
Right, like the article mentioned, even just liking someone's posts a lot or commenting, that can be a signal now.
Oh, totally. It's like
Yeah.
leaving a trail of digital breadcrumbs,
Yeah.
a way to show you're paying attention, you think they're interesting. Less pressure than a face-to-face, come on.
You can test the waters, see if they bite before diving in head first. Speaking of which, the article did mention sending sexy videos or pictures, though they seemed a bit cautious about it.
As they should. Well, yeah, some people use that as attraction signaling, sharing anything intimate online. It's risky business.
Big difference between a flirty text and something you might regret sending later.
Exactly. And that's where being super clear, communicating well online is key. Tone gets lost in text, so saying what you mean, what you're looking for, avoids a lot of heartache.
Plus, it's just the respectful thing to do. But back to less risque digital breadcrumbs. What else signals attraction online?
Think about how it is in person. When someone's into you, they make excuses to chat, ask you questions, want to be around you.
So texting someone nonstop, even if you've got nothing to say, that could be attraction.
Could be. It's about staying connected, keeping that line open. But it's not just how often, it's the content, right?
Yeah.
Are they engaging, asking about you, sharing about themselves? Are they just as eager to chat?
It's the digital equivalent of like holding the door or offering your jacket when it's chilly. Small gestures, but they add up. But what about those like bolder flirting styles? The article mentioned those, but seem harder to pull off online.
You're right. Some things just don't translate through a screen. Like you can't exactly convey a smoky jazz club vibe over text.
Hard to get your suggestive dancing on through a text message.
Exactly. But even if the exact style doesn't work, you can still be playful, a little flirty with your messages.
Like sending song lyrics or using, a certain suggestive emoji.
There you go. It's finding ways to create that spark, that little bit of tension, even with the limitations of, like, texting.
So whether it's, liking every Instagram pic or sending that perfect emoji, digital signals matter. But, like I've said, gotta be smart, be respectful.
100%. Just like in person, paying attention to how the other person reacts, respecting their boundaries, that's crucial.
Because a witty text is only attractive if the other person actually laughs.
Exactly. The key, online or off, is genuine interest, respect, and being clear about what you want.
We've covered a lot, from shy glances to emoji etiquette. As we head into our final thoughts, any big takeaways you want our listeners to remember?
Good question. I think the most important one is attraction's a dance, not a science. There's no guaranteed formula. But we can talk more about that after a quick break.
And we're back one last time, wrapping up our deep dive into attraction signals. We've talked real-world cues, digital flirting, a lot to unpack.
And through it all, the main thing is, like, every person, every interaction, it's unique. No two are the same.
For sure. So, as we come up for air from this deep dive, what are you hoping people take away from all this?
Well, like I said before the break, the big one is attraction. It's not a science, it's a dance. No guaranteed formula.
Right. If there was, I guess we wouldn't need dating apps, advice columns, this whole podcast even. Haha.
Exactly. It's way more complex, more interesting than that. The good stuff happens when you're curious, respectful, open to however it goes.
Speaking of however it goes, the article really stressed both testing the waters and not being afraid to make a move if you feel it.
Tough balance to strike, yeah. You don't want to be too aggressive, scare someone off. But being too passive, you miss chances too.
Like they say, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. But how do you know it's the right time to take the shot?
That's where, those multiple cues we talked about come in. It's the whole picture, the vibe, what they're saying and doing, your own gut feeling too.
Because sometimes you just know, right?
Absolutely. And hey, even if you're wrong, even if they don't feel the same way, handling it gracefully is what matters.
Because a no isn't always forever. Could just be not right now or not like this.
Exactly. Rejection's part of life, especially in this realm. Don't let it stop you from putting yourself out there.
So summing it all up, it's like, be observant, but don't overthink it. Be confident, but not cocky. And most of all, respect yourself and the other person.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And remember, figuring out human connection, that's a journey. Yeah. Always more to learn. Every interaction is a chance to grow.
Well said. And on that note, we've reached the end of our interaction, for today at least. Hope this got you thinking, gave you some new ideas, maybe even feel a bit more confident out there in the world of attraction.
The most attractive thing you can be is yourself. So go out there and, do your thing.
Until next time, everybody, happy diving.